welcome to our Shul band. It's good to have you, and to all of you. We are also, this is June, which means it's the first week in June, which means a few things. It means it is both our, we'll have birthdays today because it is birthdays for June, anybody who has a June birthday. June is also LGBTQ Pride Month, and so we this is our LGBTQ Pride service as well. And so we've got lots of things running through our service this evening, opportunities to celebrate together. So we're going to begin with a melody because melodies are accessible to everybody. We have an opportunity to sing together. You don't even need to know the words. So here we go. Stephanie to join us on the bima to help us light our candles. We're going to be on page 2 in just a moment.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
On this Shabbat of LGBTQ Pride Weekend, we welcome the Shabbat into our midst. On this night, we express the love in our hearts for gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people everywhere. We celebrate we were created in the divine image. We pray on this Shabbat that all people will be able to escape oppression and taste the freedom of the Promised Land.
As we light our Shabbat candles, let their glow
light our way from the closets that still hold us in darkness. Let the Shekhinah lead us with a pillar of smoke by day and a pillar of fire by night, through any wilderness towards equality. May these Shabbat tapers inspire each of us to wholeness and holiness.
Amen. Please rise.
On page 2 in your Sidurim.
Seated. We take a moment. Well, first we turn to pages 20 and 21, and then we take a moment to reflect on our week, to spend just a few seconds on each day, on its challenges and on its blessings. And then we'll come back together with L'chadodi and greet Shabbat. Hazarat HaShavua, review of the week. We'll sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, I'll invite everybody who can comfortably do so to rise and face the doors from which we enter to welcome the Shabbat presence and the extra soulfulness that travels with us during Shabbat into the congregation and into our hearts. For those of you who are joining us virtually, I'll invite you to turn towards the doors of your home and welcome the Shabbat presence into your space. L'chadodi, page 20.
L'chadodi. Your turn.
L'chadodi.
Likrat kala.
Likrat kala.
B'nei Shabbat.
B'nei Shabbat.
Chadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Shabbat is a more before and God. Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Likrat Shabbat B'nei Elchad Yiragor Araka Merosh Mikayem Mesucha Zomachaseh B'mashavat Chila Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Hitoremi Hitoremi Hore Hitori Adonai Elohim Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
Please rise if you can comfortably do so and face the door.
Oh, he is shown Ateret Bala Kabesika Utsohola Kochemunei Am Segula Oi Kala Oi Kala Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela Lechadodi Likrat Kala B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
We're going to continue on page 26 with Chatzi Kaddish. Eris Kaufman is going to lead us.
Yikadal, Yikadash, Shemei Rabbah, Belma Divra, Kirhote, Vamliv Mahute, Behayahon, Vmion, Mehon, Ufayede, Hobe Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvisman Kari, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorah, Le'olam U'amei Amaya, Yidbarah, Yidbarah, V'yishtabah, V'yidpa'ar, V'yitraman, V'yinatzei, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalah, Shemei Kusha Barihu, Le'elam and Kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tuj B'hata V'nehemata, Da'amiram Be'alma, V'yimaru, Amen.
We are on page 28.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Olam Va'ed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever.
Oh, am I awake? Am I aware? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Do you understand? Oh, am I awake? Am I aware?
Last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30, El Chai V'Kayam.
El Chai V'Kayam, Tamidim L'Chaleinu L'Olam Va'en, Baruch Atah Adonai, Amariv, Aravi.
Page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Al tasir mimenu leolamim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Oelamo Yisrael.
Amen. Page 34 and 35, Shema Yisrael. seated. We continue on page 36, Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך, ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
I'd like to invite Candy Robinson to come on up and lead us in a reading.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos.
God did not lead us by the nearer way when Pharaoh let the people go at last, but roundabout by way of the wilderness. Pillars of fire and cloud marking night and day to the edge of the flood tide, uncrossable and vast. If God had led us by the nearer way, we cried, we wouldn't die here. Let Egypt oppress us as it will. Let us return to the past. But we have come out by way of the wilderness, in fear, on faith, free now, because we say we are free, no longer the unchosen, the outcast. God did not lead us by the nearer way, but unto rising waters which do not part, unless with an unstretched arm we step forward and stand fast roundabout by way of the wilderness we have come. Blessed with love, lesbian, gay, or sanctified in ways of our own, to bless our God, who did not lead us by the nearer way, but roundabout by way of the wilderness. Am Yisrael High.
We continue with our song of freedom as we pass through the sea and into the wilderness, and eventually from the wilderness to the promised land, Mi Chamocha, page 40.
Kamocha, Vailin Madonai, Mi Kamocha. Got high on my own vocalizing there. I'm going to start again and do it right. V'ne'emar ki v'adar Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shema.
God Yisrael.
Amen. Page 43. Feel free to join me. Bottom of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
We give thanks for Shabbat, for the opportunity it gives us to pause, to reflect, to connect to our deepest selves, to community, to the Holy One, to take a breath. Join in Vishamru, page 44.
Little
In a minute, we'll move into our Amidah, beginning on page 46. I want to actually say just a word or two about page 48, our Avot Ve'imahot prayer. And you'll see from the words that I offer in a little while that I'm thinking in my head right now a lot about all the people who came before us. And one of the things we have in our prayer is it talks about God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebecca, God of Rachel, and God of Leah. And that the rabbis ask, why doesn't it just say God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Right? Why does it say God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob? And at least one of the commentaries in there is that each had a different relationship, right? It wasn't that the God of Abraham, while it may have been the same God, they understood that God differently, right? Each generation took something new. And as we celebrate this Pride Shabbat, I'm so grateful for people who have come before, who have wrestled with God and wrestled with tradition and have reshaped it and have made Judaism more accessible to wider groups of folk, and goes back, from all times. We can go down to the daughters of Zelophehad who fought for their space to inherit land as women. We can talk about rights for gays and lesbians. We can talk about more recently, more fuller inclusion for transgender folks or non-binary folks. And our tradition is elastic enough if our hearts are elastic enough, right, to make room. And so as for me, I always think of Avot Ve'imahot, at least our matriarchs and patriarchs, and they were certainly not marching in pride parades if they existed, which we don't even know. But I always think of this prayer as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, ... Right? For me, there's always an ellipsis there, and then there's me. And there's all the things. For me, the prayer is really about all those things that are part of that ellipsis, right? That come between them and me and make it possible for me to be here at this time. So we'll sing Adonai Tzvatayv Tiftach first, and then we'll rise and move into our Avot Ve'imahot prayer, Giverot, etc. as we move through. But you might think about those either in a personal way who have shaped you, or maybe some of your own heroes in your life who have helped shape either Jewish life or just our world to be the kind of world that's a little bit closer to the kind of world that you want to live in. Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaHanorah El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Hozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah
Page 50.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol atah Rav LeHoshiach Morid Hatah Mechalkel Chaim V'Chesed Mechayei HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim Tomech Noflim V'Rofech Olim U'Madir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato B'Shenei Afar Nikamocha Bal Gevurot U'Midom Elav Melech Memid U'Mekayem U'Matzmiach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Atah LeHachayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo
Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen.
Please continue silently with the text of your own heart or the words of the prayer book through page 62, 63. When you're through, you may be seated.
So here at TBI on Pride Shabbat, the song that I'm going to invite us all to sing together has become sort of our Pride anthem, I guess. It's a song written by Holly Neer. If you want to know the circumstances under which she created it, there's a wonderful YouTube video where she describes the whole process. I heartily encourage you to take a look at that. I'll feed you the verses, and hopefully by the time it's kind of like we shall overcome. Once you get it, you got it, you know, and I just gotta kind of feed you. So we'll give you a little introduction here. Okay, ready? The first verse. We are a gentle, angry people. Goes like this. We are a gentle, angry people, and we're singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we're singing for our lives. Justice seeking. We are justice seeking people, and we're singing for our lives. We are justice seeking people, and we're singing for our lives. Young and old together. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. Land of many colors. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. Gay and straight together. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. Gentle, loving people. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. And a gentle, angry people. We are gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are gentle, angry Toda Rabata Chris Gapchi, to all of you.
So sometimes for our Pride Shabbat, we've had guest speakers who have come and told their stories. And sometimes I've talked more generally about inclusion in our community, and sometimes I've told other people's stories. As I said, I've been thinking a lot as we were coming up to this Pride Month of people who have come before in the Jewish community in particular. And I was looking at some stories of some of my colleagues. And I was thinking about a colleague of mine who recently retired, Rabbi Denise Eger from Kol Ami in Los Angeles. And I'm going to tell a little bit of her story, but I'm going to tell it in her words. So as that goes through. As we observe Pride, I am reflecting on many aspects of my LGBTQ plus rabbinic journey. She wrote this last year, so she says, I am particularly nostalgic as I am retiring from my pulpit soon. My entire rabbinic career has been serving the Los Angeles LGBTQ plus Jewish community. I was ordained a rabbi in 1988 by Hebrew Union College, Jewish Institute of Religion. It was still a time when you could not be openly gay or lesbian and rabbi. There was not even a discussion, of course, that transgender people could be part of this equation at that time. The College Institute did not ordain openly gay or lesbian people as rabbis. This was a burning question and issue in the mid to late 1980s within Reform Judaism. What was the place of LGBTQ plus Jews in the community? Could LGBTQ plus Jews be religious leaders? And all of this against a backdrop of a horrible AIDS pandemic that was killing gay men in droves in the country. My rabbinate unfolded against this backdrop, fueling me to become an advocate and activist for LGBTQ plus rights in society and LGBTQ plus rights in our Jewish world. There were many closeted LGBTQ, that's a lot of letters, plus people who were already ordained, but only a handful who were openly gay. As the Central Conference of American Rabbis and the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion were actively debating the ordination of gays and lesbian colleagues as rabbis, there was to be a resolution at the 1990 CCAR convention in Seattle. And in advance of the convention, my coming out story ran in the Los Angeles Times, helping to give a face and name to the cause. At that point, there was no turning back. I stood at the bedsides of countless young men dying of HIV, feeding them and visiting them when they had no one, when their families still rejected them. I advocated for gay youth who were often thrown out of their homes. I did training for Jewish professionals, social workers, and other community leaders about how to be more inclusive of the LGBTQ plus community. We made connections with the Israeli LGBTQ plus community, supporting their efforts, and worked with the first openly lesbian Tel Aviv city councilwoman, Michal Eden, who opened the LGBTQ youth shelter, Beit Dror in Tel Aviv. We raised money for Beit Dror as well as provided resources to train their social workers in Israel on LGBTQ plus issues for their youth. But these are but some examples from my rabbinate. Over the course of the next 35 years, I would push the boundaries of inclusion for marriage equality, both in our Reform movement and in the larger Jewish world and society at large. I performed the first legal same-sex wedding in California in 2008, when the California Supreme Court found same-sex marriage to be legal in the Constitution. I would do over 60 weddings during that summer of love, before voters in November 2008 took away the right to marry, until the federal government granted it again in 2015. There are many moments of memory, including becoming the first openly LGBTQ plus person to become president of the Central Conference of American Rabbis in 2015. One story from that moment that most people don't know is that even with all the progress in our society and in the liberal Jewish world by 2015, the day I was to be installed as CCAR president, a credible death threat was made against me. At the convention, I had to have a bodyguard. This wasn't the first death threat that I received. There have been many. And what worries me most today is the climate of hatred and harassment and the rolling back of civil rights for our LGBTQ plus community. The particular focus on the dehumanization of transgender people and trans children and their families in many states, the threat to marriage equality, the rolling back of hate crime laws, the attack on women's reproductive health, harkens back to the time when I became a rabbi. Our reform movement needs to continue to stand strong and tall for LGBTQ plus rabbis and their families, our reform movement will need to stand strong and tall for our LGBTQ plus congregants and members and in the larger society, and use its power and voice and moral suasion to be the advocates we need. May this Pride season inspire us to speak louder, fight harder for justice, and be proud of our queer rabbis, family, friends, and community. So Rabbi Eger is just one of a tremendous number of, when she came out of rabbinical school, she led the first LGBTQ plus congregation in Los Angeles, and was not, while she was a lesbian, she was not out at that time because she had just been, and it really, as she wrote, what she didn't write here is that she came out in that article. That article in the LA Times of her coming out story was really the first time, right, that she publicly came out, because she felt like, if not her, she wasn't going to be fired from her congregation, right? This was a congregation that was dedicated, and so that was the time. But to just remember that it wasn't very long ago, and that new challenges, right, continue to come, as Rabbi Eger pointed out. And I hope that together we can continue to create communities that are inclusive for all those who choose to find a path in Jewish life, and who choose to walk that path with us. Shabbat Shalom. We turn to page 253 in our Siddur as our thoughts turn to all of those in our lives and in our community who are in need of healing, of body, of mind, of spirit. And we hold them in our hearts with words of healing. Blessings on Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Tobak, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakoff, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Robert Strober, Lori Snyder, Cherry DeRazadeh, Joel Beasy, Gloria Foster, Robert Gerard, Adele Harris, Brenda Found Gerard, Jan Marcus, Marla Fregoso, Al Shapiro, Jeff Nelson, Robert Waldman, Barry Gustafero, Judith Gratz-Delay, Audrey Kubel, Deborah Delane, James Stead, Rita Elias, Steve Stephen Gilbert, Sharon Zaki, Nell Barron, Oliver Holland, Bill Hughes, Ed Means, Stephanie Holland, Stan Stein, Virginia Guzman, Suzette Guzman, Marilyn Rudin, Claudia Phillips, Kenneth Phillips, Sandy Gunn, Ron Gilman, Julie Van Simon, Eric Baldwin, Rabbi Jules King, Faye Bernstein, Abby Binstock Moore, Carol Blitz, Sandra Dizengoff, Sherry Mosley, Jeff Blackie, Hannah Nelson, Mike Friel, John Ramirez, and mentioned at the beginning of the service, it is June. That means we like to recognize people who are born in June and celebrate their birthday. So if you have a June birthday, I'm going to encourage you to move into the aisle, into the center aisle. And if you are semi-tall and don't have a June birthday and want to hold our birthday canopy, semi-tall, just it's hard if you're really short.
Yom Hu Lev Sameach.
Come on down.
Sameach. Yom Hu Lev Sameach. Yom Hu Lev Sameach. Yom Hu Lev Sameach. Yom Hu Lev Sameach. Yom Huleh Sameach. Yom Huleh
Hold on, there we go. I wish for all of you not only a happy birthday, which I do wish for all of you, but a year of good health, a year of blessing, a year of connection to your spirit and your soul, of growth in wisdom, a year of community, and a year of love for everybody. And so we offer the blessing of our tradition.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and may God keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichnecha. chunaka.
May God's light shine into you and through you to others. May God be compassionate unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God and all that is good be present for you in your life. May you find wholeness and peace in your heart, in your community. May we join with others to bring our world closer to wholeness, to peace, to shalom. And we say together, Amen. So in our continuing joint venture between Mark Feynman, even though they live in Oceanside, and Temple Beth Israel, we have our happy birthday chocolate pencils. The Yom Huledet Sameach pencil is from Temple Beth Israel. The chocolate is from chocolatier Mark Feynman. And so everybody gets...
I hear the sun, I hear the moon. 1, 2, 1. Yom Huledet.
Head out, you get your pencil.
Yom Huledet Sameach. 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 Yom Huledet Sameach.
Page 278. So we are getting toward the end of our counting of the Omer, because Shavuot is Tuesday night this coming week,
Be
and
there.
Wednesday, of course, Tuesday
Be
night
there.
and Wednesday. And we'll say a little bit, I guess, about that in a few minutes. But we're going to count the Omer this evening. Again, page 278. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer.
Amen. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer.
Hayom Shisha ve'arba'im yom shehem shisha shavuot ve'arba'a yamim la'omer.
Today is the 46th day, which is 6 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. All right, Leslie, come on up.
All right. Thank you to Rabbi Cantor and the Shul Band for their prayers, their song and words of wisdom tonight at our Pride Shabbat. So big round of applause for them. And of course, and then just a few announcements, starting with tomorrow morning is our Torah reading, a Torah study at 9:30 in the morning, and that is via Zoom. And then Sunday, please join our brotherhood as we welcome Brian Fraser. He visits TBI. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay. And post July 21st, we will have that. And then, of course, Tuesday night is Erev Shavuot, and our program begins at 7 p.m. in the social hall, and we will have a film screening and discussion of Monkey Business, the adventure of Curious George's creator, and that will be followed by a sundown to sunrise study session with Dr. Tammy Schneider. And so if you are interested, please reach out to learn more in the Techiyah. And then, of course, Wednesday is Shavuot. The TBI office will be closed, but Shavuot morning service, and Yisker will be here at 10 a.m. in our sanctuary, and that will bring us to Friday night next week is Family Shabbat at 6:30, and then our regular Shabbat service at 7:30 p.m. So a busy, busy week we have. Thank you, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
And next week will be the bar mitzvah, also next Shabbat, of Erez Kaufman. Don't hide. There you are. Hi. And if you are interested in the all-night Torah study that will follow it will start really at when we finish here at 9, then they'll go over and do that. Then please let us know. You don't get the address of where it is until you say you want to come to that. But Tammy would like to know who's planning to participate with that.
But of course, there is a limit on how many people can do the all-nighter, but there is no limit for those of you who join us at 7:30 here at TBI. I believe there are going to be blintzes at both locations, but where you can kind of sample us and do a comparative tasting if that is your want. I'll say one more thing about Shabbat. Erev Shabbat next week, we're scheduled to welcome Kol HaEmek, our Jewish master chorale, to our sanctuary to join in the service. And so we encourage you to join us to hear that extra musical contribution. Speaking of musical contributions, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to our wonderful Shul band, our music director, Reed Gratz. On bass tonight, we had Joachim Gratz DeLong, a.k.a. Marcus. Not Marcus Miller, even though that's what his bass says. That's who he aspires to. Mazel tov also to Marcus, who just graduated University of Laverne. Woo, 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 woo. El Shapiro on woodwinds, Ed Beardsley on second guitar tonight, and of course Chris Gacci on percussion. So Toda Rabbah, thank you so much.
So we're going to turn to page 282, middle of the page, for Aleinu L'Shabeach. I invite those who can comfortably do so to please rise.
Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol, Latet Gedula Leotzer Reishit, Shelo Asanu Kigoye Haratso, Velo Samanu Kemishbechot Adama, Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem, Vegod Aleinu Kechol Hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 294. Our LGBTQ plus siblings, a prayer of remembrance. O God, remember today our LGBTQ plus siblings who were martyred in years past, those murdered by fanatics in the Middle Ages, those who perished in the Holocaust, and those struck down in our own cities in our own time. Remember also those who took their own lives, driven by despair by a world that hated them because of their love or gender. And in mercy, remember those who lived lives of loneliness, repressing their true natures and refraining from sharing their love for one another. O God, remember the sacrifices of these martyrs and help us bring an end to hate and oppression of every kind. We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. Of recent deaths, we are remembering Jennifer Hamilton and her husband Ken and her mom Marilyn are here this evening. There's another gathering of comfort on Sunday morning. People will begin gathering at any time starting at 10 and the minions at 11 at the home. And as was in a couple of emails this week, the Marilyn Lubarsky funeral is on Sunday, and at 2:30 at Mount Sinai Memorial Park. Her brother, Rabbi Jonathan Singer, is here with us this evening. And there'll be a Shiva gathering here at TBI at 7 p.m. on Sunday evening in the social hall. We remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Marvin Abrams, Benjamin Adelson, Eugene Bass, Regina Beliak, David Berlant, Evelyn Bach, Richard Botwin, Drina Bush, Lee Bucksbaum, Harry Bucksbaum, Hyman Chavin, Esther Chudikoff, Eva Elliott, Eva Quacher Elliott, Maurice Spike Gingold, Esther June Grossman, Jeanette Hamblin, William Hyman, Jeanette Imbergluck, Laverne Jones, Roy Katz, Rose Betty Kelber, Kate G. Levy, Dorothy Litwack, Helen McDonald, Daniel McNaughton, Sidney Michelson, Maurice Mickelbank, Rose Rizik, Janet Rose, Lawson Spicer, Ida Watsky. If you're remembering somebody on this Shabbat, would like to add their names to those that I've mentioned or restate a name I've mentioned, please do so as I come by your row. If you're in a time of mourning or observing a Yortzeit on the Shabbat, I invite you to rise. And I invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise and embrace in support of those who mourn. Again, Kaddish is on 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon, uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olomei almaya, yitparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And we'll close with the last stanza on page 321, Biyado.
Hey,
who joined us online, thank you for being with us. See you again soon. For all of you in the sanctuary, please join us in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshments. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Big thanks to Sean Peterson for handling our online presence. Hope you enjoyed being with us, and we'll see you on Shavuot morning at 10 a.m. Thank you.